many people and little kids, girls and boys, are drawn to her and have really just become kind of honed in on this story because, of course, the big story is that Caitlin Clark set the all-time scoring record, now #1, passing Kelsey Plum. And she does it, of course, in just Caitlin Clark fashion. You're going to come out and also have a career-high 49 points in the shot from the logo. I mean, Harry, of course that's what she had to do, right?
100%. Not even just from the logo, but it was the way she did it in the first, minute and a half, 2 minutes? Like, it's the outburst for me as well, in which the way she did that. And obviously, again, so many exciting players. I mean, this is an incredible list, but when I think of players that you have to drop everything for and watch, her style of play is what comes to mind. And, you know, she mentioned she didn't want them to stop the game. Hey, she did her damn best to make sure to make that impossible, did she not, with how she came out with it and then the shot as well. So it was incredible.
Yeah, and just the way you were talking about her style of play, because it's not just the scoring, it's not just the logo threes, but she's still such a good facilitator. And that really, I think people that are maybe more casual fans just focus on the scoring. But if you really are watching her games, you're seeing that she's such a great facilitator, and she's really able to set up her teammates for great success. So whether or not it's getting double-doubles, triple-doubles, 40-point games, we've seen it all from Caitlin Clark in the last few years.
Had a double-double in that game. The 49 points were a career high. I think 13 assists in that as well. Those 49 points, second most for a player in all of women's basketball this season, also set an IRO record. So really exciting for them. But it's not just that. I mean, you mentioned, where does she go from here? We saw the list of names that she's on, but she's so close to not just setting the record for women's basketball, Harry, but also for setting the Division I scoring record for anyone who's played college basketball. I mean, what she's doing really transcends women's college basketball.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you look here, 99 points away from passing Pete Maravich. I mean, she's going to walk away with all of these records. And the one
that's two casual days at the office for her. 99
truly.
I mean, that's like not even trying at this point, right?
Honestly. And the one that sticks out to me at the bottom there, seeking Iowa's first ever NCAA tournament women's basketball title. This team, to me, is not quite what they were last season, but I also don't know that matters, because if you've got 22 on your team and she is the best player on the floor for 6 games, you can win any of those games. And I say that as somebody that I am a big South Carolina believer. I feel like they're out for revenge, but it's hard to see what Caitlin Clark has been doing and continuing to elevate her game and not feel great about what this Iowa team could possibly do in the tournament.
It feels like, too, when you have that type of competitor, Alexa, like that mindset, she can go out and say, okay, I'm going to find a way to change the game. And as you mentioned, it's not just scoring, it's facilitating, it's all of the other things that she does. With that in mind, of course, they're trying to win a championship. They're looking to win the Big Ten title outright for the first time. What's the ceiling for this Iowa team?
I think this Iowa team wants to get back to the Final Four. And what you were saying, I could not agree more with. If you have Caitlin Clark on your team, really when you have the best player in college basketball in, years on your team, you can't ever count them out. But they still have a long way to go. So I think their ceiling is get back to the Final Four, maybe get back to the title game. I think it's a lot going to matter about the bracket and who their matchups are. But their floor,
I was going to say, let's make some people mad now.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on that. No, I kind of what you were saying, maybe they're not exactly the same team they were last year. And they've struggled at times. They needed a buzzer beater to beat Michigan State. They struggled at Maryland. They struggled against Iowa State. Obviously, it's a rivalry game. But for me, it's, if Clark has an off night, or if her teammates aren't also having really productive scoring nights, or if that defense is struggling, if they face a player like Cody McMahon, who is just incredible, and she's so athletic and so hard to stop, and that's part of the reason why they lost that game against Ohio State, then I could see them potentially losing in the second weekend. But
and among all of their success, she has continued to say, hey, yes, the scoring record is going to happen, but we got to stop blowing leads. We got to do better with clock management, all these different kinds of things. So as long as she is in that mindset and kind of making everybody around her better, they're in it. They have a shot.
I'm excited for the way the rest of their schedule shakes out, too, because they're off today, so you can focus on all of the other great things that we have happening in women's basketball. But they're at number 14, Indiana, Thursday, Illinois, Minnesota. And then they end the season with number 2, Ohio State, which is going to be so exciting if that Big Ten race is still as close as it is right now.